This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social. Delighted to be joined here today by Eddie Hearn. We're at the Ted Cheeseman-Garcia press conference in London. First and foremost, how are you, Eddie? Happy New Year.
I'm very well, thank you. Had a few days away. This is real. Feel good, feel refreshed, ready to go. 2019. Was getting a bit jaded towards the back end of last year, but feel good, upbeat about a good year. I've got to ask you something, actually. You know,
this is ominous.
Yeah, you know when you do things with other promoters, do they ever make you edit their interviews?
Bit of a strange question to ask.
You didn't answer it. It's just that I've had this rumour going around that outlets are doing interviews with promoters and they're not allowed to put it out until they watch it back and approve it first. Not just you, by the way. But is that the case, or am I just hearing rubbish?
Boxing's full of these nasty rumours, Eddie, as you well know.
So you won't confirm or deny that you are doing interviews with other promoters who are making you watch it back before they approve it can go out? What is the point in doing an interview? I think you should stop that. And I told this other person they should stop it as well.
I never said I did it.
You did. And you do, because I know. But you should stop it. Everyone should. That's the whole idea, isn't it? Raw. Otherwise, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. Because if I can't watch it back and make edit changes, I'm at a disadvantage because most of the time I make myself look like a prick. But that's the beauty of the interview, isn't it? Anyway, sorry, crack on.
Well, you may actually notice while we're hovering around on the subject that you're the only promoter I've interviewed in the last couple of months, and I imagine it'll probably stay similar to that as well.
Is that true? So maybe you've already done it. If so, congratulations to you. Well done.
Let's get on with the interview. Nice to see you, Eddie. How was your break?
It was good. Don't edit that last bit out. I'll never give you another interview again. No. It was good. I mean, I said there in the press conference, it's kind of like the new era now. You've got these great fighters who are coming towards the end of... Don't tell me that was never recorded. All that stuff. Yeah, good. And all these fighters who are coming towards the back end of their careers or have retired. David Haye, Tony Bellew, you've got Amir, you've got Kell. Like these guys are in the final stages. And then you've got the new guys coming through who are either going to be major headline stars or they're not. You know, you've got Josh Kelly, you've got Buatsi, you've got Cheeseman, you've got Okolie, you've got Fowler, all these guys, Caldina. So some are going to make it, some aren't. You've also got the guys who are ready to go to be the big box office stars. Callum Smith, Dillian Whyte, who's doing it, Luke Campbell, like all these guys. But these are the new level guys who we're either going to find out, Cheeseman, you won a British, you're diving straight into a European. Are you what we think you are? We're going to find out. But I think fans should embrace that and say how good it is, because we get a lot of stick for apparently not giving fights or slowing things down. So here's examples where we're speeding things up. Again, I'd love to take the credit. I don't decide the speed people go. But when a trainer and a fighter says to me, and a manager, we take that, we're ready to go, it's really refreshing because you really get the opportunity to move these fighters forward at a great pace.
Let's just start at the top of the card and work our way down. You mentioned Ted Cheeseman. Not a lot of people know a lot about Sergio Garcia, but something that you mentioned in the press conference, top 5 of the WBC, I think he's number 14 with the IBF. Yeah. Real test for Ted Cheeseman.
Yeah, and you know, a guy, it wasn't easy getting this fight because Sergio Garcia is like Sergio Martinez's jewel in the crown. He's a young, good-looking Spanish fighter with good support. So they're doing their thing in Spain. So do you really want to come to England to fight a hungry young fighter that fights at a brilliant pace? One, if you think you can win, and two, if you get a load of money. So both of those things come off, and Garcia's here. So for Ted, yes, you proved that you could beat Byfield, but beneath Byfield, your record, quite rightly, having only had 13 fights at that stage, or 14 fights, is quite thin, you know? So the jump from Byfield to Garcia is significant, but the jumps from Byfield and Garcia versus everything else is significant. So I hope that this is a calculated decision rather than a carried away decision, which, I mean, he may get in there and get schooled. I don't think so, or he may have a war and just squeak through, or he may just bulldoze him, at which case you think, wow, we've got one here. But isn't it great to find that out rather than let him have a couple of easy British title defences, which is probably what I would have advised. Hands up. You just beat Byfield, tough fight, wasn't it? What about a nice, solid British title defence? Then maybe another one, or maybe look at a European then. No, what about take it now? Okay, now. Go on, son. I love it. So it's refreshing. And when you look at Okolie, who, like, the fight against Matty Askin was one of the worst fights I've ever seen. Yeah, but he's had 10 fights, and he's won WBA International, Commonwealth, and the British title against Askin, who is a very good fighter. And he's now 8 on BoxRec, like top 10 in the WBA, and he's so inexperienced. So on one hand you're going, well, that was a boring fight, and the other hand you've got to say, well, at least you're taking these risks and these chances. It's going to be really difficult to beat Okolie. Horrible style, now improving on the inside, been working at it really hard, can punch, and he's working hard. He should be applauded, Lawrence Okolie.
And we had Waddy Camacho here today, interested observer. His name came up in the press conference. Just tell me a little bit about why that fight's not landed on this card. As I understand, well, according to Lawrence, it's a money situation.
Yeah, it is a money situation, purely. Waddy Camacho wants a lot of money that wasn't available for that fight. I don't blame him. I wouldn't fight Lawrence Okolie. He's just won the Commonwealth title. He's probably thinking, I could have a nice defence for 15 grand or something like that. You want to stick me in with Lawrence? I want X. And X wasn't available. So it didn't happen. So Lawrence will fight an international fight on this card. I think he needs some experience. I like the way, when Jake Ball and Craig Richards were going at it today, he was like going, like as if to say, I've done this, with Chamberlain. Mm-hmm. And I think last year he learnt so much. He boxed at Wembley for the British title, boxed at Millennium Stadium, boxed at Bramall Lane. He sparred with Fury for 8 weeks. I really feel like he's going to be a great, great fighter. I think he's a real talent.
Denis Lebedev, name that's been mentioned by you previously. Yeah. I like that fight as well. When can we realistically expect to see them in the ring?
Well, it's a tough one because Denis Lebedev is on a lot of money.
Yeah.
And Lawrence Okolie is not yet the star that Lebedev against Okolie. Like, Lebedev-Okolie is not pay-per-view, clearly. Don't shoot me. But we need it to do very well at the gate to happen. And we just need to get a little bit of momentum for that fight, i.e. a couple of promising performances from Lawrence off the back of the Askin win, for people to go, wow, that's a good fight. I mean, it's well before his time. Well before. He had like 20 or 30 amateur fights, made the Olympics, boxing in the WSB, won European title. So, but he is moving that quick, and the problem is once you move that quick, it's hard to sort of slow down or go backwards. The same with Ted. Once he beats Sergio Garcia, touch wood, he's talking about world titles. I'm like, all right, Fowler Fitzgerald first. He's like, well, maybe for the world title. So I love Okolie Lebedev. I just don't think yet it makes sense for Lawrence, not ability-wise, but experience-wise, and also financially, about making it happen. I'd love for all these things, Joshua included, but people just think, what's the matter with you? Give him the money. You know what I mean? You give him the fucking money. So, it's got to make sense. But I really like Okolie Lebedev. We'll see how he gets on Feb 2.
Now, you just mentioned Craig Richards and Jake Ball going at each other. Two guys who I've got experience with in the past, not really known for their trash talking, but both giving it to each other ahead of this one.
It's good because, I think that you need a little bit of spite in the build-up to training. You've got two guys there whose profiles aren't like a Buatsi or a Kelly, so a little bit of fire in the fight can help them do it. There's going to be a lot more people interested in watching that fight than there was before their little spat. Started online, carried on today, right? They'll be training harder. There's more on the line. They can't afford to lose. If whoever loses that fight is out of British European dreams for now. Yeah, and both guys want to go on and win British titles, want to win European titles. So I love it. And if you said today, right, what fight are you most looking forward to on a card after watching that presser? You'd probably say that one. And it's really the third fight or fourth fight down on the card. So there's nothing wrong with a bit of that. And like I said, there's a lot on the line for that fight.
Moving away from February the 2nd, tomorrow we are going to be at the Crawford-Khan press conference announcement. You're not going to be there, you're going to be in New York. First of all, reasons for that?
For being in New York, I have a massive meeting that's very important. So we're co-promoting the show. Frank Smith will be there for us on the top table, repping. It's got nothing to do with someone say, are you not going because you're pissed off with Khan? No. I'm upset. I'm not upset. I'm a bit gutted that he didn't fight Brook. But he's fighting Terence Crawford. I mean, it's not like he's fighting Sid Snot over 10 rounds. So he's fighting a tougher fight than Kell Brook. But I wanted him to fight Kell Brook. I think a lot of people wanted him to fight Kell Brook. But he's trying to win a world title against pound for pound one of the top fighters out there. So we're involved, we're co-promoting the show, we support him 1,000,000%, we hope he wins, we'll be there. But I'm going to New York for a meeting that I really can't cancel. But we'll be represented and we're behind him 100%.
It's the third fight of his deal with you. Does that mean it's at an end, the whole Khan matchroom relationship? Is this the last?
No, I think we're already talking about extending that. I've got a good relationship with Amir. For many years it was quite poor, and I think the way we've worked together in the last two, I'm pretty sure you can ask him tomorrow, and you can say this to him, that Eddie feels that after those two fights, he feels and he hopes you feel like you wish you would have all linked up earlier. And I think that's the feeling. So, if he doesn't want to stay with us after the Terence Crawford fight, he doesn't have to. I think he will. I think that might even be extended before the fight, to be honest with you. But again, during these negotiations, people said to me, how was it negotiating the Crawford fight against the Brook fight? I made it quite clear to stay on the Brook fight. I knew about the negotiations, I knew about the money, I knew about everything, but I wanted the Kell Brook fight. So I didn't feel like I'd be doing my job for Kell if I just didn't push the Brook fight. And in the end, when he made his decision, I had to go and make sure everything was tidied up around the Crawford fight. Obviously, like I said, he's under contract to us. We're co-promoting the fight with Top Rank. But my heart wasn't in that fight. My heart was in the Kell Brook fight. And I tried to get that over the line, but I couldn't.
Would you have signed Amir Khan if you knew one of those three fights wasn't going to be Khan Brook?
It wasn't about the Brook fight. It was about getting Amir Khan with Matchroom back on Sky and hopefully making a Brook fight. He did 2 fights on Sky, massive ratings on both. The second one was the highest rating fight ever on Sky. This fight, although we control the sale of the UK rights, doesn't have to go on Sky. They'll want that fight on pay-per-view. Khan and Top Rank. So if Sky don't take that fight on pay-per-view, which I'm not sure they will, to be honest with you, it won't go on Sky. But that doesn't affect anything. It's up to us and Sky whether we want that to happen. So we'll see what happens.
ESPN have got the deal with BT Sport, so could we expect to see that on BT Sport's pay-per-view?
It's up to us. If Sky want that fight, we can take that fight. If they don't, it will go to BT, it will go to ITV, it will go to whoever will want it to be pay-per-view. For me, coming in at 5 a.m, it's not a standalone pay-per-view, so can you build something around it? If we go April 13 with Joshua, we definitely won't be showing it because we just can't go pay-per-view with that fight. So it's a tough one. But again, if Sky want it, they can have it. If not, it could go to BT, could go to ITV, could go to another outlet.
What were Kell Brook's thoughts when I'm assuming you were the person who informed him that Crawford-Khan was taking place?
He never thought it would happen. Never. Not 5 years ago, not a year ago, not 2 weeks ago. He follows it. He knows. But I've said to him on many occasions because we were making progress. I think we're going to get this. You ain't going to fight me. I said, no, I'm going to prove you wrong. He will fight you. No, he won't. And he was right. He was right all along.
Is there anything you feel you could have done more?
No. I made an offer. I improved the offer. I got to a point where financially, and even Kell had to take less money than he should have, but financially, it was a risk. It was a risk, not for Kell because he was getting paid, but he wasn't getting paid what he probably hoped to get paid. We had the risk of losing money. Bet you're all gutted about that. But when you do a big pay-per-view at Wembley that could do 1 million buys, not being funny, I'd like to make a few quid. But we might not have. We might have lost 7 figures on that fight. And as much as I want it to happen, the numbers have got to add up. So I got to a level that I shouldn't have got to. And I can't do any more. Ultimately, he liked the fight against Crawford. And he obviously didn't like the fight against Brook. But again, you can't... although I don't feel like Amir's given us the fight that we wanted, you can't criticise him because he's fighting Terence Crawford. So, I respect Khan. We're behind him 100%. I'm just a bit gutted that he didn't fight Kell Brook.
Where does this leave Kell Brook? Obviously, we've seen the rumours about Jeff Horn. You've just signed Liam Smith. Jesse Vargas is another name that's been mentioned down at welterweight. Which one of those three do you feel is probably the most likely?
The Jesse Vargas fight's one we can make very quickly because obviously Jesse's with us. Liam Smith's with us as well. I think that's a future fight at 154. He's mandatory to Jarrett Hurd. Jeff Horn's guys come on the other day, talk about that fight. I like that fight as well. He'll be in a big fight. Kell Brook will be in a big fight. He's focused now, and like I said, he didn't build himself up to a stage where he's like, oh, have we got the Khan fight? He just said to me all along, he won't fight me. So I don't think he's shocked by the news. Going to meet him next week, go through it with him and his dad and try and plot out some big fights. He's more focused than I've ever seen him, which is a bit frustrating actually, because I wish he was like this 3 years ago. So we've got to make the most of it. And I think now, because he wasn't great in his last fight, I think people are going to fancy the fight a lot more. So he's going to have plenty of options.
The Jarrett Hurd fight, so he's mandatory for Jarrett Hurd. When he first made his move to 154, Jarrett Hurd was one of the people who kind of welcomed him with open arms into the division. That fight doesn't seem to be one of the top 3 most realistic fights. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, because I don't think, he's not due to mandatory just yet. So Jarrett Hurd will fight, I think he's down to fight Williams, is it, in his next fight? Something like that? Yeah, so we know he ain't fighting him next, so that's why we're not really talking about it. Again, that's another one of those, I'll fight Kell Brook in the UK with an asterisk if you give me shitloads of money. Same with Joshua. I'll fight Joshua if you give me money that is absolutely ridiculous. So we'll see. But he's up for the Jarrett Hurd fight. Jarrett Hurd's a good fighter. Tough fight, massive like middleweight. But Kell wants big fights, and that's what he'll have in 2019.
Realistically, I mean, you've said it before, if it's not next, it will never happen, Khan Brook. Realistically, is that fight ever going to take place, do you think?
I don't think so. I mean, again, look, Khan could beat Crawford, or he could do really well and lose, and Kell could have a good win. I don't think it'll ever be the size that it is now. It can happen. It's still a big pay-per-view fight, but it might do 500,000 instead of 1 million. Might do 20,000 instead of 80,000. So I just felt like we had such a good opportunity to strike that we may have missed the boat.
You just mentioned Anthony Joshua. Dillian Whyte hit the headlines recently, said that he'd received an offer to face Anthony Joshua, said it was less than what he made against Derek Chisora. Just your thoughts on that?
I don't think so. But I represent both guys, so I'm not going to say too much on it, only that Dillian got made an offer. Could it have been more? Yeah. Was it embarrassing? Not in my opinion, but it was a first offer. It will be improved. I had a good meeting with him today. He's got other options. He's a pay-per-view fighter now on Sky. If he wants to fight Joshua, he can make that happen. But I want to say he's got to be realistic, because it's almost like disrespect. You know what I mean? It's like gets people's backups by saying, "Well, be realistic. You be realistic." So we don't want to get in that. All we're saying is that there's millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of pounds out there for Dillian Whyte to fight Joshua. This isn't a reflection of Dillian. All I'm saying, this is mainly to other people actually. You've got a chance here to fight for 4 heavyweight world championship belts. Tell me, out of 100%, how much is about achieving, how much is about legacy, how much is winning world heavyweight titles, and how much is about money? I feel that for a lot of people, it's about 90% about the money and 10% about the legacy and the belts. When Joshua boxed Charles Martin, he boxed for really small money. But he had a chance to win a world heavyweight title, and he knew if he won that belt, where he could get to. So again, this isn't a reflection of Dillian, but what I will say on Dillian is, Dillian has a chance to box Anthony Joshua for 4 world heavyweight titles. I don't want to be in a place next year when people still going to me on social media, when are you going to deliver a world heavyweight title fight for Joshua, for Dillian? It's there now. It's to be negotiated, yeah? And it will be. But you have to put a value, and again, this isn't about Dillian, it's mainly about other people. I'm talking about this. What does it mean to you to be undisputed heavyweight champion of the world? Okay? So we're now making offers, not to Dillian, but to other fighters, that I feel are too high. Because one particularly, in terms of Deontay Wilder, leads Joshua to the undisputed heavyweight championship. That's why he's making these offers. Not because he just wants to punch Deontay Wilder in the face. He's doing it because he wants that belt. So he's constantly going back, giving more percentage, changing things, 2-way rematch, fights in America, all this kind of stuff, to try and make those fights happen. But at what point do you have to say, you know what, I can beat Joshua. And if I beat Joshua, I'm the fucking numero uno. And I rule the world. But do you really believe you can win, or are you just looking for a payday? Because I'll give you a payday, and I believe it will be the biggest payday you may ever see. But do you really believe you can beat him? Because I just feel like a lot of the time, it's just about the money. I mean, that's coming from me, who everyone presumes I'm like the most fucking money-hungry man in the world. Don't get me wrong, I love a pound note. But I also love glory, and I love achievements, and I love legacy. So I just know that if I was some of these people these offers were being made to, I'd be taking it. And I would be advising my clients to take it. Because if you believe collectively as a team you can win, you have to take it. Because this is it. This is your chance to, and again, they're not insulting offers. They're fucking, some of them are much too good. But it's down to whether you think, you know what, I'm happy taking a cut more other big fights. I'll fight Joshua next year. A lot of them are saying that, But it's frustrating when people are going, Joshua's ducking. Joshua ain't, mate. Joshua's ready to fight all these guys. But they will fight him if. Not, we will fight whatever it takes, we'll make it happen. Like people like Deontay Wilder, I've sent 6 emails that are unresponded over the last 3 weeks. And do you know how frustrating it is when I read things like, Joshua's ducking Wilder? It's like, we can't do any more. Again, we've made flat fees. You accepted. We went to contract. You decided to just go cold on us. Then we made split offers. Then we improved our split offers. Then we made 2 fight guarantees with rematch clauses for you as well in America. And what pisses me off, I read like Lennox Lewis's comments. And I'm like, what are you, bitter that Joshua didn't sign with you? You should know better. You didn't fight anyone. Look at Joshua's 22 fight resume compared to Lennox Lewis. Please don't make me laugh. And Lennox Lewis, Joshua should offer this guy this percent. We've done it, mate. We've done it. What more do you want us to do? I don't know what more we should do or could do. The guys won't get back to us. They won't even have a conversation about the fight. And it ain't about, he's fighting Fury next anyway. That's not done. So why not have a conversation? They didn't want a conversation last time. Deontay Wilder sent a personal email offering $50 million. We said, we are very interested. Please send a contract. They said no. Okay. Could we have a meeting? No. Come on. How thick have you got to be? So it's incredibly frustrating. And it gives me the hump that Wilder's almost got one up on me. That he's done a job on us here. And he's convinced uneducated people that Joshua is running. And that's frustrating. But I don't know what else we can do. I'm up for advice.
You wouldn't listen to me anyway. With regards to Dillian Whyte, I mean, I've seen him like a few tweets. I've seen him put out a few tweets. About the Frank Warren and Tyson Fury. Does any part of you think that, okay, because I assume it makes it, well, I would think it would make it easier promoting both guys, but evidently the Kell Brook fight hasn't happened.
It makes it a bit easier in the communication lines are clear. It doesn't necessarily mean that a fight's going to happen. We've done an amazing job for Dillian Whyte. He knows that. And he will get the opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua for, as I said, multi-millions of pounds. Whether he thinks that's enough or not, I will provide him with that opportunity. In terms of him liking tweets, most of it's to wind me up, which it does. Dillian Whyte, if he ever wanted to leave, I would shake his hand and I would go, good luck to you. I like him, I respect him, I think he's a great fighter. I'd be gutted if he left because I think we do great business together. Made him a fortune and he deserves it because he's come from the small hall shows and with no help. So I'll give him a lot of respect. But if he's not happy with the job that Matchroom and Sky are doing, no problem. I'm not that bitter promoter that fucking starts ranting legal action and blah, blah, blah. Mate, I wish you Godspeed. But we do great business together. He's coming off the back of 2 very successful pay-per-views. He's made millions of pounds. And he's number 1 in the world. He's going to probably be mandatory with the WBO. He's hopefully mandatory with the WBC at some point. So, I said to him, I'll send you like a few tweets. Yeah. That's what it's like with him, But he's probably frustrated. But he will get that opportunity. And I will make sure that it's the right money. It's just whether he thinks it's the right money. That's where the difference could lie. He may go, I'll just take another big fight on pay-per-view. Or we could say, I'll gamble it all on Joshua. Because make no mistake, you're gambling it all. Fury, Wilder, Dillian, if you fight AJ, you're gambling it all. But when you roll that dice big, you hit that fucking winning number, mate, you've got the lot. And that's what they've got. If Dillian Whyte beats AJ, he's got the fucking lot. So how much value do you put on that? How much value do you put on being the unified heavyweight world champion? You should almost say, whatever you want to fucking pay me, pay me. I know life don't work like that, and it shouldn't, by the way. I'm not saying he should, but it's almost like you should say, mate, this is it. And that's why Joshua has kept giving 5%, 2.5%, 5%, like back to try and make the Wilder fight. So I hope we can get to a stage with Dillian where he says he'll never be happy with the offer. And Joshua will always think the offer's too much money. You know, that's boxing, that's business. But hopefully we can get to a stage where Dillian goes, for the risk involved in this fight versus the reward, I'm in. But he'll get the opportunity to do it. But, you know, a lot of the time, because of my relationship with AJ, it's always like, oh, is Eddie and Dillian like, whoa, he's, you know, I can't respect the man enough from what he's done. And I've enjoyed so much watching him grow as a fighter. And by the way, I've enjoyed making him millions of pounds. Because he's someone, he ain't come out of the Olympics. And we picked him up like, he was looking for an opportunity. We gave him one. He's been a pain in my arse. There's been times where he's wanted to knock me spark out, but we've always done great business, and we'll continue to do so. And I hope he gets his shot. I hope the Joshua fight happens, because I think he deserves it, and I think it's a great fight.
If it's not the Joshua fight, and by all intents and purposes, people are kind of pushing the Miller-Joshua or the Joshua-Miller fight for potentially May in New York, that April the 13th date, it's not going to be any Kell Brook anymore because Khan's fighting Crawford. Does it have to be Dillian Whyte?
No, it could just fall away. It's not the end of the world. Doesn't really matter. We'd like to do Wembley. You only get one shot a year, really, and we've got that date. So it has to be Fury, AJ, Wilder, AJ, or Wilder, AJ White. I've seen the Klitschko stuff like that. That ain't not April 13th, but you know, part of me feels that a big fight in America is a good idea. You know, fighting a guy like Miller from New York, in New York, I think it's a big move. I think it's a big career move. You know, I'm not saying it's a fight that gets you as excited as Wilder or Fury, but I think it's a tough fight. And I think to go there and make a statement and to announce yourself to that market, I don't know.
I mean, AJ's spoken in the past of kind of wanting to bring the big fights over here as a reason for not travelling. But if he's facing Jarrell Miller, who by all intents and purposes isn't the most well-known fighter on these shores, I know he's done some appearances at Soccer AM and so on and so forth, fighting in the middle of the night, is that not going to harm AJ's fan base back here?
Because they'll all watch, but he'll grow his fan base through the roof in America. So I just feel like if he's not going to have a major name, we're not just going to exploit the UK audience. You know what I mean? We're not going to go, oh, they'll all turn up, whoever it is. And they will, by the way. But he doesn't want, you know, he wants a major fight at Wembley. So if we can't get a major fight at Wembley, we'll look at other options. And one of those options is a major fight at Madison Square Gardens. And then you have a fighter that has sold out Wembley Stadium, Millennium Stadium, Madison Square Garden. I mean, that don't happen a lot for Brits. This is, you know, people say, oh, they've got a 6 or 7 year plan or fight. Yeah, we have. And it's called total dominance of the heavyweight division and creating a legacy that will never be forgotten. That's the plan. You're not comfortable with that plan? I mean, not you, but like, well, what's wrong with that plan? It's not about milking. You know, all these guys we're mentioning, there's other guys, you know. There's other guys he could fight. He could go to Saudi Arabia. He could go to China. He could make 30 million, 40 million and go and fight anybody. But he wants the big fights. He reads this stuff, you know what I mean? He wants to prove you all wrong. He gets incredibly frustrated that you honestly think that he's ducking these guys. That frustrates him. So he's got a little bit of a, not a bee in his bonnet, but a little bit of a spring in his step which says, oh, fucking knock all these fuckers out. That's what he's thinking at the moment.
In kind of I get that, but in kind of the same way as you're saying about potential challengers saying, do you know what, it's for the belt, so I'll beat him. Yeah, well, can Joshua, from his point of view, say, okay, if he wants to fight, yeah,
we're doing that. We're doing that. We're not.
But there's a limit.
Yeah, because when he boxed Charles Martin, we had to convince him to take this purse because look, you can win this fight. You can become world heavyweight champion. Okay, well, I don't like the deal, but if you look at it now, if he wouldn't have fought Charles Martin, we may never have got a shot at the world, or eventually a mandatory. I don't know. So it's about timing. So it's not just I understand the other argument. Oh well, what about Joshua? Just says fuck it, whatever I got to pay him. I'm not saying to the other fighters, well, whatever you're getting paid, take it. There's got to be an element of the opportunity. But this opportunity for Joshua, he's laying that out to voluntary challengers. He's giving them an opportunity. They're not giving him an opportunity. He's giving Tyson Fury the opportunity to win all the belts. What does Joshua get? Joshua gets the lineal championship, but I'll tell you what Joshua gets out of that. Finally, the respect he deserves when he beats Tyson Fury. People go, fucking hell, I thought you were a hype job, mate. Fair play, you're the man. Yeah, that's what he's getting from the Fury fight. What's he getting from the Dillian Whyte fight? Fucking handful and a tough fight for no reward, really, to be quite honest. Just a fight that he wants because he's got something personal. He wants to knock Dillian Whyte out. What's he getting for the Wilder fight? The Undisputed Championship, the final belt. That's why he's gone from the offer that they supposedly accepted to an improved offer, to an improved offer, to another improved offer, to a two-way rematch, to a fight in America. He's giving all of this up consistently and continuously. But it's not just, I'll tell you what, I have the lot. I'll box for nothing. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what, I'll risk everything that I've built up just for something I shouldn't deserve. For money that's just shit. But I don't care because you want it and So if he's willing to give a little, continuously give a little, why isn't Wilder even having a conversation? They're not even coming back going, well, I can tell you what, another 5%, another 10%, you've got to fight. If I wanted a fight and you made me an offer, then you improved it, then you improved it again. How can I not come back to you and go, listen, Rob, I don't want to waste your time. You pay me this, you've got to fight. That's frustrating. And then we negotiate from there. But we really are at a max out level right now where it ain't fair what Wilder's getting. It's not fair. But Joshua's accepted it to try and lure him into an undisputed fight.
Okay, it seems as good a place as any to end this. Eddie Hearn, thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Look forward to catching up with you soon.
Cheers, old boy.